Keyboard Exchange International.
Seems like you got yourself a fancy new toy there.
New toy. It's not really a new toy, but it's new to this organ.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful feature. Let's introduce ourselves, Grant. I'm Jim Huss from Keyboard Exchange International, and this distinguished gentleman is
Grant Tharp.
Grant is large and in charge of all the electronic work that goes along here, along with Bill, his partner here in the electronic shop. They do great work. They've both had the privilege of meeting and being trained, especially Grant, being trained by factory authorized Hammond organ technicians that have worked for Keyboard Exchange, and those guys are getting hard to come by. So we've at Keyboard Exchange kind of assumed a certain responsibility for training young fellows like you and Bill to carry on the tradition of taking care of these vintage organs, and it's a wonderful thing. And you and Bill, you're doing a great job. We appreciate you very much.
Well, thank you.
Now, yesterday you and I were talking about the volume on this string bass unit and how it was almost overpowering.
Yeah, it was a little bit big.
Yeah, it was like shaking the room and shaking the wing nuts on the Leslie.
Yeah.
Until we tightened that one wing nut. Hey, if you have a rattle in your Leslie, check those wing nuts, folks. But I think the adjustment that you made yesterday, the internal adjustment in the back to lower the volume of the string bass, now blends in perfectly with the normal bass pedal drawbars that I tend to use.
Right.
Tend to pull out that 16-foot drawbar all the way and the 8-foot half the way. And then that kind of, blends and so forth. But if someone wanted more power, let's say they wanted to come out of the OBL2 into subwoofers and they didn't want to pull the drawbar out all the way, I mean, there's really almost no limit to how much bass you could get.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the organ itself has a lot of bass internally and inherently. However, the Trek 2 string bass unit that you Bill, actually installed adds some features that the factory hadn't thought of at that time. like sustain and pluck. See how that kind of rings a little?
Yeah.
Now the original design was, let's say, a little kind of dry, without that feature, and it's, if somebody wanted it, now what do I have to do to get more sustain?
Well, you've got two control knobs down there that people at home probably can't see just yet. But one of them controls the sustain, one of them controls the pluck, which is the attack of the string bass. And if you turn them both all the way down, it acts just like the original Hammond organ pedals would act.
Okay.
You have to sustain a note, you have to hold your foot on that note.
Mm-hmm.
But if you turn up the sustain, it gradually gets longer and longer. You get a longer tail on the end of it, so you can just tap the note and it rings for a little bit, like on a string bass.
Okay, why don't I try that? Yeah. Here's with no sustain whatsoever, and we'll just add about 10%. It's just starting to come in. There it is. That's too much.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so
It'll
that's
ring a
why
long
the
time.
musician can adjust that to his or her liking.
Sure.
Now the pluck feature, I'm going to turn the sustain off for a second just so we can demonstrate the pluck. Someone told me that it was a lot like an upright bass, a little. It's just like a little attack.
Yeah, you get a bit of punch out of
Punch,
it.
I like
Yeah.
that word punch. So what you have to do is personalize it to your personal preference, but you have all the controls
Yeah.
right at your, literally at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful feature. Now, the good news is this organ is getting delivered tomorrow to the man who ordered it and who asked us to add the string bass, and I think he will be perfectly happy. Now, string bass can be added to any of our organs here for the most part. Could be added to a B3, B2, C3, C2, A100, all those tone wheel organs. This string bass unit was designed specifically for a Hammond tone wheel organ.
Yes.
And sometimes they're a little hard to get because they're back ordered at the factory. We always try to keep at least one of everything in stock from Trek 2. But that's a great feature. Anything else you'd like to add, Grant?
Well, just as you were saying at the beginning of the video, there are adjustments on the string bass unit itself, which we've installed inside the organ.
Oh, yeah.
But they're actually quite easy to get to with a small Phillips head screwdriver. Anyone who decides they want more bass, you can open up the back and turn it just a little bit, or even more pluck. You can get a bit more attack if you need to, if the controls at your hands are not doing what you really require.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really customizable for any use at different volume levels, and it's because you have those knobs on the front of the organ, you can play something in kind of a jazz feel where you're playing string bass, and then you can turn that sustain back down and play gospel music just as you normally would with a Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't pigeonhole you into any particular style.
True, and the organ itself can be used in a wide variety of
Well,
styles.
sure.
Yeah, that's a proven fact. Yeah, so Grant, I think what we'll do is we'll just I'll just play a little more, and the people watching this video, Grant, they know our names, Jim and Grant, but they don't even know maybe where we're located. You should tell them stuff like that when you're in a video.
Well, we're located in sunny Sanford, Florida, which is just on the north side of Orlando. And I'm originally from this area. I'm from Altamont Springs. But Jim, you're originally from New York, or where are you from originally?
Up north, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I grew up
Oh.
in Pennsylvania, lived in New York, started the business in New York, moved to Florida because my kids wanted to be close to Disney World.
Who doesn't?
Thanks, Grant.
Sure.
Thanks for watching our video, and thank you also for helping keep the Hammond tone wheel B3 organ alive. We couldn't do all this work that we do here without you. And it would also help greatly if you could subscribe, like, ask for notifications for when we have new videos. That would be a big help for us. So we thank you once again. I'm signing off for now, but we will be back.